morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. It's 8:21, 11 degrees, and we have a cool guest here today, CJ Burton. We got a call from Kelly Strike from Mode Models, and he says you've got to have CJ Burton on the show because he's the hottest photographer around, and he's right here in Calgary. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning.
Now, you are a commercial photographer, and you have a very unique style. Take a look at one of these shots here. You brought your book in, and I love looking at your book.
Thanks.
It's got a very surreal feel to it. As a commercial photographer, things can sometimes get a little boring and bland, but you throw a lot of wild creativity into your shots. Tell me how you would describe your style.
Yeah, well, I've heard surreal before, but I'm not sure that I put myself in that area, but I think that's the word that people use a lot is surreal, and just kind of, I like hyper-real, but you know, in today's day and age, with anything, and especially commercial photography, if you don't have something that kind of stands out, that looks a little bit different than what everybody else is doing, it's hard to sort of make a name for yourself. There's, you know, if somebody wants a portrait of, you know, just take a portrait for somebody for a magazine, then, you know, there's 1,000 other photographers that can just take a portrait, right? But,
that's right.
So what I try to do with my work is have something that's unique, that stands out, looks a little bit different, and so that when people will look through and see my work, you know, whether it's in magazines, on billboards or whatever, they'll see it as something a little bit different, and they'll maybe remember it a little bit more.
Well, these are amazing shots, because like this one with the fire coming out here,
Yeah.
and how would you go about doing something? You're not actually sitting the person in that scenario. You're kind of piecing things all together. Explain your process.
Each image is kind of its own problem of how to tackle, but first of all, I'll start with a sketching phase, and so I'll do like a brainstorming session, and the client will come to me with you know, whatever concept they need sort of photographed or represented, and then I'll do a sketching phase and present the sketches to them, and once we're all happy with sort of a sketch, we decide on a final sketch with composition. Then I follow the sketch very closely, and as far as each image goes, you know, it's just a matter of solving the problem of how to do that, and I use miniatures a lot, and we have this little set here just to show.
Yeah, you brought some miniatures with you, which are very cool. Do you spend a lot of time in the hobby shop?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of a geek, and it definitely shows in my work. But you know, I think one thing, you have to be kind of true to what you're interested in. And I was always a model builder as a kid, and hung out in model stores and comic book stores, and I think that led me, you know, when I was in school, when I went to photo school in the States, in Los Angeles, and I had trouble just kind of hanging out with the other photographers because they were all shooting at cool people down on the beach, and that just wasn't my thing, and I ended up kind of just hanging out in the hobby shops and the comic book stores. I'm like, you know, this is cooler, and so for me it was anyway, and I just kind of, I think you have to follow your passions and where that leads you. So I do spend a lot of time in shops and in my own shop building stuff to sort of accomplish what I need.
That's right. Now I think we have some stills that we've pulled off out of your book that we wanted to look at. You know, you get covers like this. This is amazing. It must make you feel pretty good to be blazing over a lot of big magazine covers.
Yeah, it is, and it's you know, it's something when I first started out in commercial photography, I did have a lot of goals that I laid out, and one of those goals was, you know, to start shooting for major magazines and have ad agencies be interested in my work, and so it is nice to sort of reach some of those goals, and it's a nice way to really get your work out there. But
is it any different working for big clients like that than you know, an average corporate client?
Yeah, I actually find myself more comfortable with larger clients because you know, they come to you and they want your specific look, and so they tend to come to you and say, you know, just do what you do, you know, provide us with kind of your magic, if you will. So it's more than just, hey, I need a shot of our CEO. So, you know, they want, it's almost like you're a director, and you're kind of, you know, they're saying just, they'll hand over all creative power to you,
Well, you seem to have a limitless imagination. That must be the greatest thing, is putting what's in your brain out into a photo.
Yeah, it's definitely not
otherwise
limitless,
wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. I find you have to fuel your imagination, and so I do watch a lot of film, read a lot of books, that kind of thing, to help out. I try not to look at other photographers too much, though, to be honest with you. I look at a lot of illustration, a lot of film. You know, the reason I don't look at a lot of other photographers, you don't want your work to look like other photographers, and so I try and draw my inspiration from other places than photography.
Now tell me, there's a million aspiring photographers out there. I mean, how old are you? You're a huge success in a short period of time.
Yeah, I'm 32, so I think I tend to look younger than I am, but everyone's always surprised. But yeah, you know, I would say it's just, you gotta have a vision, you've got to have a goal. And I think that, like anything else in life, if you don't have a goal of what you want to do, you're kind of just like a ship without a rudder. And so I would say, you know what you like to do, find what your strengths are, and really use those, like I said, with like, you know, the hobby shops and the models and that kind of stuff. It's like you find what you want to do, and then you kind of you kind of follow that and then kind of push that forward. So I would say that'd be the one best advice, is to just have a goal and then really work towards it.
Well, we're so proud that you live in Calgary, married a Calgarian, so he does all of this work right from here. Uses a lot of mode models, which is fantastic. You can check out CJ on his website, cjburton.com, and we look forward to seeing your photos absolutely everywhere. Thanks for joining us.
Sorry.
Stay with us on BT. News, weather, and traffic is coming right up.